Good morning. Morning, Evil. Morning, Travel. How are you? Say good morning if you're here so I know how many people we've got roughly. Would be good. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget the comment section if you've got any questions on anything we covered this morning. Markets open. Morning, Sarah. DAX and FTSE both broken long. DAX is off. We've just had news come in this morning on Spanish CPI, which is positive. Morning, Barry. We've also got the German CPI this morning. So I just want to quickly watch this at the open. Just to see how far this pushes this morning. We've got, we are bang on the previous day's high here. So that's yesterday's high, previous day high. So I just wanted to watch the price action there. It looks like they're selling. There's limit orders sitting at the previous day's high, which are triggering, holding this down this morning. So just wanted to see if we break that level, because if we break that level today, there's no reason why we shouldn't really come up and test high of the week. TP1 is around that area there. So I just wanted to see if we break this morning. We'll come back to that in a minute. Morning, Lucas. So today we are going to cover a little bit of a follow-on from what we did on Tuesday. I had some really positive feedback from people on Tuesday's stream, mainly people that can't make the stream, I think. Morning, Mark. Did say Lucas, didn't I? Morning. About what we covered on Tuesday. So if you weren't here on Tuesday or haven't managed to watch Tuesday's stream, we were just working in the strategy tester, looking at position trading without indicators. So position trading using support resistance areas to scale into positions. Yeah. So just looking at areas where prices, that's not a very good one, but areas where prices reacted multiple times and looking at those as entry points rather than using indicators like ADR, RSI, whatever other indicator you want to use for position trading. So this is how I used to trade manually before I developed the EAs. So we did a session on that. And using the price action, the position trader EA to scale in and out of trades. So I got some really positive feedback from it. People loved that session because support and resistance is a very discretionary thing. And I think what most people seem to have got out of that session that have contacted me anyway, which wasn't many, but anyway, the people that have contacted me, what they got out of that session was really that it doesn't matter about specific levels with any accuracy. I think that was the key thing. Everybody in trading says watch this high, and I think we've been programmed by all this ICT smart money concept crap that there are exact points where price turns, and it's just not like that. Price is random. This is all the same buy here by the banks, but they don't do it at a price point. So what I've done is I've developed an EA that we can use to practice. So this session is really about going through the EA really, and I'll pop the EA out in the members section so that you can use it in the strategy tester. And it's to basically allow you to kind of try and train your brain into seeing these zones, because a lot of people, I keep saying a lot, the people that contacted me about the session, although you guys don't like talking in the actual members group, do you? You prefer to talk to me direct. I get so many more DMs than I do people talking in the group, which is fine. You know, I understand that people don't want to air everything in public, but I can't remember what I was going to say then. But it's basically developing this tool so that you can go and practice this. And a lot of people, as I said, the people that contact me I really like the idea of trading like this rather than using RSI, because the trouble with indicators is indicators fail a lot. They work a lot, but they also fail a lot. So what happens, I think, in this industry, which is very true in my journey, is that we try to find an indicator that works the most of the time. But what actually works better than anything else is levels and zones. And it always has, because this is what the banks and institutions use. They move from zone to zone, finding balance until they can't. When they find imbalance, they find another zone they found balance at before, and that's where we stop. So it's a much more logical way of trading, and a lot of people sort of clicked with it, I think. So I thought I'll build this EA out so that you can go and practice this. And if it becomes something that is useful, and I think it probably can be, it's something I've been thinking about building for ages, but I never bothered to do because there's things out there that kind of do it, I guess, at the moment. But so what I thought we'll do is we'll build this EA, we can test it, you can practice it, and it kind of gives you, I think, the muscle memory that you need to DAX is just breaking that high. So I just noticed on my other monitor at the corner of my eye, we just broke that level. It gives you the muscle memory you need to convince yourself that what I say is true, if you like. So, you know, I can show you many examples of it, but until you actually take a trade at this level, you see it playing out and you see what it does next and how far it goes. It builds this muscle memory that you have as a trader over time where you just suddenly know what to do. When something does something and takes off, you go, right, well, it's going there. And this, I think, will help a lot develop that skill. So I've built this, and we'll play with this morning. I'm going to develop this to make it more user-friendly, I think. Well, not so much more user-friendly, more flexible in entries and the way it works. So we'll go through that in a minute. But that's why I wanted to cover this session, because it's always good when I do a session and people click with it and go, that was brilliant. I want more of that. Because I'm happy to spend all the time doing one thing if it's one thing that really makes people click. It's all about finding that light bulb. Yeah. Morning, Don. Morning, Lucas. I started the replay yesterday of Tuesday's session, and it was great so far. Many learnings. It was a long one as well. It was 3 hours, that one, I think. So, but the best sessions I do, if you go back and look at some of my old live rooms, the ones that which are 3 or 4 hours long are 3 or 4 hours long because we started talking about something and everyone was like on it. Yeah, you suddenly, there's bits that you get that are important. And it's not until you start talking to people you understand what is important. And this was one of those. So, yeah, but go and watch it. It's worth watching. And it's obviously quite a long one, especially from back testing with the position trader for manual trading. Yeah. So you can do this with the position trader. And this is what we did on Tuesday. But I thought the best thing to do is to build something where you can, before it happens. Yeah. So the problem with the position trader EA is when you're in the strategy test, the price is moving really fast. You get to a level and you go, oh, that's where I want to sell from. By the time you've got down there and you've hit the button, it's gone. What this allows you to do is mark up your charts. I'll quickly show you, but we're going to go into this in more detail. But what it allows you to do is mark up your charts and go, right, where am I going to sell this? And you can basically go, okay, I'm going to sell it here because of that and that. And I'm going to buy it if we get down to this low, because basically they pushed up to there and they bought it and they bought it and they bought it and they bought it. So if we get down to there, I'm going to buy it. If we get up to there, I'm going to sell it. And basically it allows you to mark out the zones and then wait and see if it gets there. When it gets there, if it doesn't blow through the level, we'll get in. It blew through the level. Okay, that one didn't work. So where's the next area we would probably look to sell from? It could be there. No, yes, it was. That went far too fast. Triggered the order. Okay, so I'm in short. Great. I'll get out when it comes down in profit. But if not, where will I sell it again? So you've got an obvious level up here. But that's quite a long way away. So there's another area here which we've bought and sold at 3 times. So let's try that one. Yeah, it allows you to do it. But what it's doing, rather than with the position trader EA, is you're getting to somewhere and then you're reacting. It's allowing you to plan ahead. So we're planning our trade ahead. And this is what I want people to do. And this is what I do, is when I get into a position, the first thing that goes through my brain is I'm going, where are we going? If we're going my way, where are we going? If we're not going my way, where are we going? It's about planning where the market is going, because it only goes up or down. So it is going to go to one of the places that you're going to forecast. Yeah, so that's what it's about. So it's a practice EA at the moment, but we can use this. I haven't released this yet, Lucas. This is what today's session is all about. Right. So let's quickly go through FX analysis and stuff. First of all, we've rejected that level again. I'm not going to be able to concentrate on this morning, so I'm just trying to make a quick decision. Why is the market frozen? That was weird. Just worried about hitting this level. It looks like we're rejecting this high here. I'll just going to let it run. I have faith in the DAX this morning. Right, so this morning we've got obviously the CPI came out at 2.4 for Spain, so it's gone up more than expected. That's not the one we're interested in this morning. The one we're interested in is this one. The 50% of the CPI number in Europe is made up from Germany. France is the second largest contributor. So Germany is the biggest economy, therefore the CPI number for Germany is most important. This gets released, the 6 states in Germany. The numbers get released and drip fed throughout the morning, basically. So it's a case of just watching financial juice as the 6 states announce their individual CPI numbers. And you'll see them come out on the news this morning gradually. And that will build up a picture of what we're going to get for a CPI number for Europe. So quite an important figure, this one this morning, but there is no time on it. It just comes out gradually this morning. So you'll find the euro will gradually speed up or gradually decline. It will move based on that number. It may be that we just get the negative 0.2 that we were expecting and nothing really happens. But that's the main news today. Bank holiday, it's Thanksgiving in the US. Happy Thanksgiving if you're watching on the replay. If you're watching on the replay today, why aren't you at Thanksgiving having fun with your family? Hopefully you're watching it tomorrow. So yeah, that's today. I would expect rotation in the markets today because we're not going to have a very big session because London obviously is going to do what it needs to do. US is not going to be happening. So tomorrow as well, it's a half day in the markets for the US. So the rest of this week could well be fairly rotational. One of the other things that tends to happen on big bank holidays like this is you get a lot of volume go through the London session and there's a lot of slippage because there's less volume in the market. So the market needs to push further to get to places or get orders filled. So sometimes we do get a lot of slippage. So far today, you can see from the ADR dash, there's not a lot happening. So I get the feeling we may well just be sitting in rotation for 2 days today. Morning FTNet. So that's the news today and kind of a push into tomorrow. But tomorrow we've got GDP for the CAD and we've got Bailey speaking. But don't forget, it's just the US asleep. Everybody else is trading today. So we may well get some movement, but we'll see what happens. CPI for Tokyo is coming out overnight as well. Overnight news, not an awful lot. Very quiet. So yeah, nothing really happened overnight. Very quiet night. We've got the ceasefire in place now for Israel, so that takes a little bit of pressure off of conflict, but we've got the Russian conflict escalating. Germany came out yesterday and said there is a rising risk that we'll be looking to invoke NATO Article 5. Article 5 is basically an attack on one country is attack on all NATO countries get involved. Yeah, Kremlin sees Germany as an adversary. We are in direct confrontation with Moscow. So Germany basically upset that everybody is letting what's going on in Russia go on, which is heightening tensions. There was talk about France and UK troops going into Ukraine to support in a supportive role, not in a combative role. But obviously Russia is going to see that as France and UK getting involved. Germany seem to want to get involved. So this all looks like it's starting to flash. So be careful if you have got any positions on yens. I've got a yen on at the moment. And if you've got any Swiss exposure, if that does flare up, that NATO Article 5 gets triggered, the yen and the Swiss franc are both going to rally dramatically. So everything you're trading against those two is going to pop. So just be a little careful with your exposure. I've got the one on, which was off that support bounce yesterday. So it was this area that I bought. It dipped through and it's pushed back up again. So I'm just looking to get up to here. That's it on that one. So I'm not taking any more exposure on the yen. But just be aware of that. Obviously, this is now bubbling a little bit hotter. You know, it's all starting to get a little bit more I think Europe is getting fed up. There's two things at play. I think Europe's getting fed up with the fact that Russia keeps doing what it's doing and Ukraine can't fight back. It wants to support, and the US is not as supportive now that Trump's getting involved. I get the feeling that Europe wants to trigger Article 5 before Trump comes into power, because Biden will be obliged as part of NATO to send troops now. If Trump gets in, he could immediately go, we're pulling out of NATO. And then we've lost a massive amount of force to fight back against Russia. So I get the feeling under the hood here, something is bubbling, a plan is bubbling to try and get this thing escalated quicker rather than de-escalate. Trump says he's going to make a phone call as soon as he gets in and sort it all out, and it'll be done in 24 hours. So that ain't going to happen, obviously, unless he makes a deal, in which case that deal is Ukraine, tough, give it up. They're not going to do that, are they? So it's not a phone call problem, is it? It's something that's much bigger. So that's my feeling on it at the moment, is that we are going to get some kind of flashpoint. So be careful with Swiss and yen exposure, because those are the ones which are going to rally hard. And it's going to be obviously yen strength. So everything comes down against the yen, everything comes down against the Swiss. So if you've got something like Euro Swiss on, for example, as a long, yeah, it's that type of price action that we're going to see, possibly bigger. So just be aware. That's it. So there's your news done. I just worried about this morning being a rotational session. I'm going to leave it. What I'm worried about this morning is I can't trade the US session this afternoon to try and get any losses or hedges back. So I was kind of hoping to get a quick break and quick money this morning, but it doesn't seem like it wants to. And it's rejecting that high. So we've got a gap fill to the downside on the DAX as well. I might just take it off this morning and be done with it, to be honest. Then I haven't got to worry about it. Oh, that trailer's going to take out the second one. So tiny loss on the FTSE. You watch it fly now. I've just closed. Look at it. Just as I close it, it flies. That will obviously just trail that second position. So just going to break even on those this morning. Right. So ADRs, there are none today. RSIs, gone flat. Banked 0.72 yesterday, sitting in 0.5% drawdown at the moment on the positions. Nothing in problem. So just waiting, really, for stuff to actually move. Right. So let's cover what we're going to cover this morning. So basically the EA that I've built, which I will, I'm going to fine tune it. So what I'm going to do is give me some input as to what you think you would like to see in this as well. But what my plans are for this are, I'll explain first of all the way it works, and then I'll explain what I'm planning to do with it. So let me just go on to the hourly time frame, I guess. And let's pick something like pound US. Okay, so what this EA does at the moment is it basically risks a amount of money, $200 at the moment in this case, over an ADR. So the ATR settings are 1 day 10. So it's risking $200 over one ADR of movement as a position trade. And it's got the normal exits that you can use. So you can use partial profit exits after an amount of time, exit at money target, exit end of day, etc., etc. So I've got mine set up at the moment, this EA, to say I'm going to be able to draw in support resistance areas. We're going to get in at those levels and automatically get me out at the end of every day if I've got more than 400 in profit, or when I hit that close button. That's how I've got mine set up to work. And the support resistance distance needs to be a minimum of 3/4 of an ADR. So this is kind of a little bit of a fallback. So when I draw a zone on the chart and I get into a trade and I draw another zone, the EA will go to that zone and say, should we get in? No, if it's too close, it just won't take the trade and you'll see the box just disappear. Yeah. So I'll explain quickly how it works. So this is very similar to exactly what we were doing on Tuesday. That's why I've built it, so that it's kind of something that you can use rather than the position trader EA, which has got limitations, I think, for this style of trading. So I'm going to start it up. I'm just going to quickly zoom out. And the speed is fairly slow at the moment. Just move that down a little bit so we can see. So all that it does is it draws a line on your chart every week on a Monday. So this designates the start of the week. The reason I've put this here is so that you get an idea of how much time is passing. One of the problems with backtesting, and I think this is one of the best things you can do as a trader, and it was drummed into me by my mentor, that I need to spend as much time as I possibly can in here, because if I can spend 2 hours in here and watch 3 years roll past, I am programming my brain to see 3 years worth of price action. Yeah. So I'm learning 3 years worth of experience on an instrument by trading in here. So what this is doing is every Monday it draws a line on the chart and says, this is a new week. This is a new week. So when you're trading in here and you're manually taking trades, you can see how much time is passing. Yeah. So it preconditions you to understand how long your trades are going to take. So if you take a trade with a button and you get in and it doesn't work out, and then you get in again and it doesn't work out, and you get in again and then it moves down and it gets you out, you can go, right, that took 3 weeks. So when you are sitting in your current positions, you have no expectation of needing to make money today, because you know that this is going to be something that's going to take X number of days or weeks to play out. And obviously you can do this on any time frame. I'm using the hourly and 4 hourly charts, which is where I'd recommend you do this, but you could do this on 5-minute time frame. Yeah. So on 5-minute charts, you could basically say, I'm going to get in at high of day, high of yesterday, and then another one area above that. And you can trade the 5-minute time frame and try and do this as a kind of a scalping exercise if you want to. But price action is the same on all time frames. You will see this pattern on a 5-minute chart. Yeah. It's just that that will be the day rather than the week, or 2 weeks in this case on an hourly time frame. Yeah. So all that happens with this EA is very, very simple. You press that button, sell limit, and it draws a box, and it draws a box at today's high. So the current high of the day. And again, I can change this, and then you can basically move this box around. So it's already pre-selected. You just got the little dot in the middle. You just grab that and you move it around. Yeah. So we'll say, okay, this area here and down to sort of that area there is an area that I'm interested in selling. And then if price pushes down, I've hit the buy limit button there, to this area, yeah, I will buy it. Okay, and you can adjust the size of the zone. Now, the size of the zone at the moment doesn't really matter, but this is something I'm going to probably program more logic into. So the way that the EA works is it uses the bottom of this box, and if the high of a candle is in this zone or above this line, and the close of the candle is below the line, it will take a trade. Yeah. So what we're saying is, I want to have pushed into this area, yeah, and come out. So we have rejected. So it's unlike the position trader EA, where we either get in with a market order, or we have to place a limit order, which could just trigger as price flies through it. If you get a news event that goes 2 ADR up, yeah, and it flies through your limit order, you're just taking drawdown on this. It's pointless. What I'm looking for is we get into this area and we reject it, because that's what price does over and over again. It pushes in and rejects, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Yeah, that's what price does. Pushes in, out. So what I want is that price action happening on that line. But the idea of the box is that we're looking to pick a zone. So somewhere up there, it could come and reject, couldn't it? It could reject this level, this level, this level, this level, because price is not a line, it's an area. Yeah. So what it'll do is every time there's a new candle, wherever you've drawn your box, it will automatically adjust the box to current price. Yeah. So that box was drawn there, this box was drawn here. And what it's done is it's extended the box to here. So it leaves that end where it is, and it extends this end out for you. Yeah, so you can see exactly where your zones are. And as price is playing out, you will see what it's doing. Let's just move it forward a little bit. So the tester, you can't see behind my head. Let me just turn myself off a minute. Which one's me? That one. There I am. I've gone. Right. So what I'm doing down here, yeah, is I'm just using the slider in the strategy tester to adjust price. So all I'm doing is I'm just moving forward in time like this. Yeah, just moving it forward, letting price play out. There we go. So we touched that level, that box. We pushed back out of it. So we've taken a buy order. So now what I do is I stop and I go, right, okay, so I'm bought here. So one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to push up and hit the target in money, which is for me 400, and you can set this in the inputs, or it's not. It's going to go down. But what I might do is I might press the close button when it gets to here, because that is what I would have done. Yeah, so you can automatically close it out yourself, or let the EA close it out at a profit target in money. So what I would do now is go, okay, we're in. I need to go and have a look at where I might buy next. So I'm going to, next thing you do as soon as you're in a trade is you plan the next one. Right, put a new box on there. We bought this area here. So there's a little area there, which is kind of a little bit too close. So the next area I can see is somewhere around here. Yeah. So this area here, in fact, it goes all the way back to there, look, is an area we pushed into, came out of, into, out of, into, out of, into, out of, into, out of, pushed up, tested, tested, went. So it's a good area of support and resistance. This is what you're looking for, an area where price has reacted over and over and over again. It means that this is an area of activity for banks and institutions because they are constantly using that as a resistance. We didn't want to go through it. As we went through it, everybody that was short has flipped long, so therefore they're now buyers. So when we get to this zone, there's a high probability that because they weren't selling anymore, they will now buy from that level. Yeah, so it's an area of interest, if you like. So I'll draw it in there, and obviously as we move in price, it would just pop that line straight across, so I can see on my current chart, current time frame, hard right edge, where that is, and I can now zoom back in and just sit and see what happens. It's either going to go down into that level, or it's not. Yeah, so I'm either going to make money or I'm going to scale in. So we popped that level. Why did that not take a trade? Distance. Okay, so this is something else I'm going to build into the EA. The distance here is too close. So you can see up here. Let me just put myself back on. So you can see up here, the minimum range is 1024. So I have set that I need the distance between my trades to be 3/4 of an ADR. I don't want to get in too tight. Now you can set this to whatever you want. So you might want to set it to maybe half an ADR to start with. If you find that you're scaling in too quick and too close together, then you can adjust that. But the reason that didn't trade, and it would have done, is because the minimum distance needs to be 1,000 pips. That entry there to the top of there is 950. Yeah. So again, this is something I can work on how to adjust. But if I just move this down and say what we'll be interested in is, so forget that level there, these highs here and this low here. Yeah. So that area there. Yeah. We'll use that one instead. So that will extend across. Now we've missed our entry. You can see that that is still too close. Might have just about got a trade on. Now the ADR's dropped down to 945 though, the 3/4 distance, because ADR has dropped because the market's gone a little bit range bound. So we missed that one, but if it gets back there again, we'll take it. Now that's gone into profit. So my decision making process now is, okay, I'm in profit. What shall I do? Shall I manually close, or shall I wait for it to get to that area there, which is my sell zone? Now there's logic that I can program into this to say automatically get me out if we hit this box. So as I'm long at the moment, it makes sense when we get to this area for me to get out of this trade. I'm in profit. I've got a load of money. If we get to this area, I want to sell it because that's where they've been selling it from. So the logical thing for me here would be to close my position. Now, it doesn't do that automatically at the moment, but it's something I can program in. And it makes sense to do that because I'm trading support and resistance. If I've got a profit when I get to the next resistance, what am I expecting it to do? Drop. So there's absolutely no point in trying to hold this through that level. So what I may do, and I think the logical thing to do is to, if we are long and we get to a point where we sell and there is profit there, automatically shut the buy, right? So we've hit this area. Now we're going, I want to sell here because it's resistance. So if there is a buy order on, when we hit a resistance sell zone, close the buy because we're now short. Yeah. So that makes sense. 238 to bank. Now at the moment, what I've got is a close button, which closes everything. So it will close that sell order out. Yeah. I could also put a close buys and close sells button. So you could get into hedge situations, and then we'd need to see what the buy profit is, the sell profit is. So there's lots of things I can develop into this to help. But I think what we need to do first of all is to start using it and see what would be good to have in it. Yeah. But now I've got no sell zone in place. I still want to buy this area though. So I still like this area down here because now what it is I'm interested in buying this. Yeah. So this area here is a decent area to buy. So I'm going to leave that in place, but now I need to find somewhere to sell. So where we are at the moment, so we've got these highs behind there and we've got these highs here. So I'm going to use that as my sell area because that looks like a good area. So we'll start to sell up there. So there we go. Well, it sold immediately. So you see that extended across immediately and bang, we were straight in because price accumulated around that area. So I'm in short, so now I need to have a look at where I'm going to get in next. So let's have a look at where the next area of resistance is. It's up here. So this is a decent area of resistance. Yeah, so support multiple times, pushed away. We flew through it, used it as resistance, and we came back in and we touched it there. So what I'd probably do is encompass that little bit of price action there, maybe. Yeah. And then we'll see what that turns into as a resistance zone. Now, distance there is 50 pips. I need 900, 3/4 of an ADR. So that's far too close. So what I could do is I can either adjust that minimum range to basically say 1/4 of an ADR and not care, or I need to adjust this zone because it's no good because it's far too close. So what the reasoning behind this is, if we hit this area here, yeah, and it bounces out of that area, that's great because I've already got a short on. I'm going to make money on that short, aren't I? So I don't need to take another trade here. It's too close to take. But if it does bounce there, this trade is going to work, which is the bounce off of this. Yeah, so I don't need it that close. So the next area above there is tricky. I would say it's this area here. So it's this low, this high there. We bounced out of it multiple times, accumulated a little bit. So that's not a bad area. So we'll extend that across and we'll take a second entry when we get up to there. Don't forget this is an hourly time frame. So, 1, 2, see this trade here, you now know took 2 weeks. Yeah, that's Monday, next Monday, next Monday. So we sat in this for 2 weeks. That's how long it took for price to muck about and manage to get up to the next resistance zone. So we'll extend this one along. There you go, new candle started. So it extends along every time a candle closes. And we'll see where it goes. We're going down. Now there's a little area of support here. And again, you can adjust this as you go. So you see price bounced a little bit there and it went up. Yeah. So we've got a little bit of a trend line. I don't use trend lines myself, but a little bit of a trend line occurring there. So what you could say is I want to get down to there. So, you know, we can adjust our box up if we want to, but this is the sort of thing you're going to be doing. And if I build this into a usable EA that we can use to actually trade with, what you'll be doing is literally just looking at this once a day. This is the type of strategy, support resistance, that you're going to put these zones in place, and you're going to check your charts every morning, and those zones will be in place. So I set this zone here and this zone here on this Monday. Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All we've done is looked at our charts. It hasn't got there. It hasn't got there. So what we're doing is just checking it every day. Do I need to adjust my targets, my zones? And you may think that because we bounced there on Wednesday that week, you might on Thursday morning wake up here and go, do you know what? This area looks like it's holding. So if we get back down to there, I'm going to buy it. And you'll adjust it on Thursday. But when the tester, you can either make these adjustments on a daily basis or not. So every time a day goes past, which is obviously these separator lines, you could say, right, what would I do today? Well, it's pushing up. So what I might do is just continue to move up into the next little support area down there. Or I might leave it down there because that's an area of resistance turn support. Entirely up to you how you use it. But it's going to allow you to see how long it takes price to move to get to support resistance areas. Everybody's in a rush all the time to try and make money. You can't make money if the market just flip-flops around sideways all the time. Yeah, there we go. So we got up to our second entry to sell because we were wrong on our first one. So we need to stick another sell in place. And now we need to find a new area. So this area here is, and here is roughly where we are selling at the moment. So there's an area here of resistance which accumulated a little bit there. You got this low here and this low here and this high here. So that area there is pretty good. We pushed up into that area. Yeah, we pushed through it, tested it, came back down, tested it, came back down, tested it, tested it. It made a head and shoulders pattern and market structure started from there. We came back and tested it again. So that's a pretty good area. So we'll see if we can get up to that area there. This is now taken 1, 2. We're in week 3 of this trade. And again, time is relevant to the time frame you're trading. This is still going to play out this type of structure on a 5-minute chart, isn't it? So we're coming down, we're in profit. Decision-making process here is, how's my day going? How's my week going? How's my month going? Am I fed up being in this for 3 weeks? I've got an exit, screw it, I'll take it. That's my decision-making process there. I just want out. Yeah, so closed. So now let's have a look at where we're going to go. So where we are here at the moment, this looks like a good little area to buy. So we've got a nice double bottom there. So fancy buying that double bottom if we get back down to it. At the moment, that zone at the highs is quite a long way away. What I might actually do is draw in maybe average weekly ranges. I mean, this is something you could put the ADR indicator onto as well, and it would be useful in seeing how realistic as how far away a zone is. But this is obviously beta version 1, so there's all sorts of stuff we could apply to it. But there's a good, I still like that zone up there, but I also like this. So what I might try and do is, now we're in a new week, this is last week's high. Yeah. So this is last week's high. So what I might do, because this is last week's low here, and this little area, and this is the previous week's low, and this is last week's low, today on Monday, we're bang in the middle of these two areas. So let's see if we can get a double top or a double bottom bounce. Yeah. So we'll leave those zones in place and we'll see which one of those gets tested. Guaranteed 100% one of those is going to get tested, because it can only go up or down. So which one's going to get tested? I'm going to take whichever one gets to first. No trade this week. Didn't get to any of them. There we go. So we're in long because we got down there. But that took a whole week. We sat there for a whole week. We didn't take a trade. Why? Because it just didn't hit any zones that we wanted to get into. So now I'm in long. I need to look at where I'm going to get in long again. So this area, this whole bit here is what we just bought. So there's an area here that's kind of interesting down here. Yeah, we got this little low here and this high, probably look at that. The most recent lows are there. So we had this little spike up, pushed, retested. Yeah, that's a propulsion gap fill and retest. So propulsion gap, add. They're buying from this area. So I'll get in again there. Okay, distance between those, 86, 87. So I might want to just move it down a little bit just to make sure I get a trade on. We'll see if we get down to those lows. No, gone up. Okay, so we're 350 odd in profit, nearly hit that sell zone. I'll take that. There we go. So I'm out. I'm out far too late. Obviously, if I'm watching this intraday, I'll be out anyway, wouldn't I? But so yeah, there we go. But that zone's still in play. We haven't hit that high yet. So if it gets to get up there, I'll get in. And what I might do now is, because this area has become supportive, so this is where we took that long from, it's still in play. So if we get down to there, I'll long it there. If we get up to there, I'll short it there. Yeah. And if you know, this box, I've made this so that you can move it around however you want. You make it as big as you like. If it extends beyond price, it will shift it back. If it extends too far this way, it will shift it back. So it'll always put the box ends where we are so that you can see them, whatever time frame you're trading on, the boxes will be where you want them to be. Yeah, so you see it shrunk that back for me. So sitting around now waiting for price to do something. There we go. We're sold at the highs. So let's zoom out, have a look where we're going to go next. So that's too close. So we're back up at this area again, aren't we? So let's have a look at this area we had before, kind of like that. So that distance wise is, I'm going to have to draw this max, sorry, not max DD, this minimum range. I'm going to get that plotted on the chart because we need to see that, because we need to say, if I'm going to say I don't want to get in more than 3/4 of an ADR between trades, I kind of need to see where 3/4 of an ADR is. So I'm going to get that plotted on the chart, because if I draw my resistance zone in and it's too close, I know that I got to either change that setting or I need to move up to a higher level. So we'll let that move across and see what the distance is. Plenty of room. So we'll let that play out. Another week's gone past. Not going anywhere yet. Monday, Tuesday, we're off up to our next zone. We're in. Okay, so we've now got 2 shorts on. So now I need to put another one. Obvious spot is going to be there. But we got this head and shoulders neckline here. Yeah. So this is a head and shoulders pattern, one that worked for a change. Doesn't often work, which is basically a high, a retest, a retest, a retest. So that area is a good sell area, and then it's going to be up there. So distance between that and that is probably too close. 800. Yeah. So I'm just going to go with that high. That's really what I'm going to use. So we'll whiz along, see how we get on. Back in profit. Close it. So I'll take the money there, and let me slow down. So now what I'm going to do, hit the sell limit button again. If you hit the sell limit button again and you've got a box in place, so let's, you know, if we've got a box in place somewhere and we hit the button again, it just moves it back to where you had it, to just above the daily high. Yeah. So what it does is it places it 100 pips above daily high, so it gets it out of the way, but where you are at the moment, because obviously in real time, if you were doing this, you're gonna obviously its price isn't going to move so fast it's going to get into that box, is it? So yeah, I'm just going to go for that high somewhere around there for our next short, because we're now flat. There we go, we're short. So you know where this one's going, back to where it was before. So we've got that little area there in that head and shoulders, which is the test of the head and shoulders. Distance between those is 800, a little bit too close. So I'm just going to go, screw it, let's go with the highs, because that's probably where we're heading, isn't it? But we're not, we're going down again. So I'll get out, stop, back to square one, stick it back at that double top. Now this box is far too far away because we're in a, we're going up. So we got this high here, which we came into, tested it, we accumulated, pushed out, tested it, flip-flop through it. So it's not particularly amazing support resistance area. So downside, I'm just going to zoom in. Here. So we pushed up into there, accumulated around it. So basically, we pushed in there, the sellers sold it. We pushed in there, the sellers sold it. The buyers ran them over. All the sellers turned into buyers, bought it, bought it, bought it. This is a buy zone. That's where I want to buy it from. So see how we get on. So I'm playing quite a tight range, but this is an entire week. Yeah. So this is a week and a half ago, that high. This is last week's high. This week we've tested last week's high. I've played it already, made my money on it. If we double top it, that's going to become a treble top. That's going to be strong and push us back down into there. So I'm happy to take that short again. Come on. There we go. Short again. You know where this one's going. The theme here. We'll try that shoulder, but oh, we can do that now because now ADR has dropped to 863. So the net daily range is now contracting because we're not as aggressive. Some probably news has happened which made it big before. So I'll try that level because we've got another level at the highs we can try. So let's see if we can get up there. There we go. Second entry in. I now need to short it again. Why is my sell limit not there? There we go. So that high is obviously now where I'm interested in getting into my third position. So let's see if we get up to there. I just missed some profit there. I could have taken that. I let it go far too quick then. There was a profit on the table there. That was a nice, easy in and out in a day, but I missed it. Never mind. There we go. So I got 100. Could take that if I want. It's basically, it's not going through that area, is it though? We're struggling at that high. So if this low here that they're buying breaks, we're flushing. So your choice now is, are we going to break low or are we going to break high? I don't know. But if you want 120, you can take it. And then you can just try and sell the high again. Yeah. So in, out, in, out. We're just playing support resistance. I'm going to let it run, see if it drops to the lows. No. So that was the wrong thing to do. Or was it? It's just not going anywhere, is it? There we go. So now we're in the highs again. So now we need another zone. Now the problem we've got now is there is no other resistance. Yeah. So if that high breaks, the next resistance zone is all the way up here, look. Yeah. So what you need to do is kind of draw a little line there and say, right, that's the next zone to the upside. Let me just tick. There we go. Which is basically where that box is at the moment. So if we're going to push up higher, that is the next upside resistance. Didn't quite get a trade on there. Doesn't matter anyway. I made 600. Just close it. Okay. So there you go. So that's basically how it works. It's very, 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 very simple. Yeah. Trading is simple. It moves from a zone to a zone. That's all it does. It goes up, it goes down. It just moves from area to area. Your job is to identify areas. What this EA allows you to do in the tester is put blocks on the areas and teach yourself that fact, because that is the most important thing you need to know in trading. Doesn't matter how many indicators you've got, how good you think you are, how many books you've read. At the end of the day, this thing's done the same thing for 200 years. It goes up and down and moves between supply and demand zones. Yeah. Draw them on the chart, trade them. That's it. That's all you do. The equity curve on this is looking pretty healthy. I haven't taken many trades, and I've been trading for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You've just given yourself 3 months worth of trading experience in 30 minutes. Yeah. Nice P&L. Yeah. That's the P&L. Maximum drawdown I took on the account was 1,365, and I've made 825 profit. Yeah, so took a bit of heat, but at the end of the day, we know where price is going. Yeah, it's just so what you would do in the real world with this strategy, which is, as I said, exactly how I used to trade, is every day you just check your charts and you wait for price to get to particular levels. So I would, in what I used to do when I first started doing position trading, was literally every morning before I worked, I put the zones in, and every evening I checked. And basically, if we were in those areas, I would literally press the buy button and the sell button. There was no confirmation. There was no market structure. It was literally, are we in that rough area? I'll sell it again. Are we in that rough area? I'll buy it again. Has it gone anywhere? No. I'll move on to the next chart. And it takes you 20 minutes to do this, 10 minutes even. Yeah, it's not hard, is it? Every day, all you're doing is you're looking here and going, right, I'm now going to buy it from here. That's all you've done. That's all you've got to do every day. Very, very simple. But what this allows you to do is you can now go through months, years worth of trading and make discretionary decisions at support and resistance only, and just see how you get on. You will see where it goes wrong. Now, at the moment, there's no way of doing drawdown control. The only drawdown control you've got at your disposal is that. Yeah, which is get out. So there's things that I think need to be developed into this to help in the test, to help you do what you would probably do in the real world. And obviously the problem with the tester is you can only test one instrument at a time. So your decision-making process is going to be very different. If you've got $200 on the table and you've already banked $1,500 this week, you'll probably take the 200. I don't know, you might not. You might be the type of person that holds it. Yeah, I don't know what you would do, but this will teach you what to do. If you see this go green over and over again and then turn red because you didn't press the close button, you now know that you need to press the close button when it's green. You see me all the time in here going, news is coming up. I'm going to bank that. I'm going to bank that. Bang. Because I can bank it. It's green. It might get bigger, might get better, but it might not. The only reason I do this is because from experience, I've seen green P&Ls turn red over and over again because I was flipping a coin on it, either getting into more profit than I already had or going into drawdown against me. It's much better just to take the money and put it down there. If there's a news event coming, take the money. Yes, it could be a massive winner, but it could also be a massive loser that you're in drawdown for 4 weeks on. Take this now. You can get in later. Yeah, there's always going to be another support and resistance zone. Yeah, if you take it off there, there's another zone coming up. You just got to wait for it to get to there. Don't take a trade because there's a trade. The other thing that this helps you do and will help you sort of hone is the over trading. Yeah, people want to be in. I get people contact me all the time about the position trader EA. I've had it running on my chart for 3 days. It hasn't taken a trade. Is this normal? Everyone's preconditioned to being in the market. There's no reason to be in the market if the market is going to do this. Yeah, if it's not going anywhere, you're not going to make any money because it has to move a distance for you to be able to bank profit. If it's going to do that for an entire week, you don't want to be in it. Yeah, but if you've got in it because we hit that level, get out because we've hit another level. Yeah, so you will hone your support resistance identification skills using this. This is basically why I thought it'd be a good thing to build. Let me just catch up on the chat. On those H1, evil, maybe you could add a line with the next long short trade. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll put a line in. Basically what it'll do is it will just plot the minimum range, so you can select that in the inputs. Yeah, very simple. Distance between entries is 3/4 of whatever. This at the moment, the ATR calculation is set to daily 10. You could use the ATR of the actual time frame. So if you're on the 4-hour time frame, you could use the 4-hour ATR 14 is default, and say it's got to be 3 times the 4-hour average range. Yeah, but you know, daily is what I use. I'm just going to carry on using it because that's what I've always used. So I'd be looking at something like 3/4, maybe a half. This will become obvious to you when you use it. So if it gets to a zone and it doesn't take trades, it's because this is too close. So I'll plot that so you can see where it is. And if you see that it's always too far away or always too close, you can adjust. And this will also teach for position trading how important spacing is. As I said, the one thing that people get wrong in position trading, two main things: lot size, getting in too big with the first trade, and distance, getting in too close together. I've gone short. Oh, it's gone up 1/4 of an ADR. It's hit yesterday's high. I'm going to short it again. Oh, it's gone up another ADR. I'm going to short it again. Why? Yeah, but you've got 3 trades on. You took that trade way too close. So now your drawdown is twice as big as it should be by the time you get there. Twice as big. You make that mistake twice in a position, your position will be 4 times larger. Your drawdown will be 4 times larger than it should be by the time you hit the next area of resistance. So this helps you to understand the drawdown. You'll see that max drawdown going up. Yeah, I might actually put current drawdown in there as well. Actually, you've got current drawdown. It's here, isn't it? Current drawdown's there. So yeah, that I can get that plotted on the chart. I think that's a good idea. On those H1, H4 zones, can it be programmed to have M1 or M5 market reverse alerts as confirmations? No. So there's no. Well, not reversal alerts. No. But what I can also do is, and this is the other thing that I'm going to work on today. You might not get this today because it needs more work yet. But I'm going to try and get this done today. At the moment, what it's doing is it's using this line, the low of the box, for entry. So what the logic basically is, high of the last candle. Let me zoom in so it's easier to see. High of the last candle. This is the last candle. I'm assuming this is our current candle. High of the last candle has to be above that line. Close of the last candle has to be below that line. So you can see here the high of it was above, the close of it was also above. The high of this candle is above the line, the close of this candle is below the line. That is where the entry would be. Yeah. So it's basically, although it's drawing a box, the box is there to help you draw zones, but it's using the low of the line as the entry. That's the at the moment the trigger. Another trigger that I would like to test and use with it, which may or may not be useful, is that we have to have some kind of price action happen within the zone. So you're trading inside the zone. So we could say that the last candle's high has to be inside that zone. We then have to have a bear candle whose low or closes inside the zone and its high is inside the zone. If the high invalidates that level and if the close of the last candle is above that level, it will get rid of your box. So basically, if it flies through a zone, it invalidates that zone. Yeah. So if you've got a news event that went like that and it closed up there, that box disappears. It's gone. It's not resistance, is it? If it was resistance, it would have bounced. It didn't. It blew through it. So we're going to scrap that and find another one. So that's the way the current logic works. But there's a million ways you can trade price action. The problem with it is there's a million logics you can program in. And what you will find is always there is one that is better than the other. And you will become focused on, I need a reverse alert. I need a moving average cross. I need this. I need that. It's got to happen within the box. So therefore the box has got to be bigger. There's 1,000 things you could do. At the end of the day, if you boil it down to the very, very simple, and you've just seen me trade this live. I've never seen this time frame. I don't even know what. We're in 2020 in September on the pound US dollar. I haven't picked this. It's just something I've looked at. I don't know how it was going to play out. But you've seen me just do it because that's what price does. If you get to a zone, a line, a level, a price point, and somewhere around there, it goes like that, that is a bounce. That's good enough. And this is why I've programmed the logic to be high above, close below, because what it is a rejection. And it may reject, and blow through. But your price action that you want inside here, your reversal alert, your moving average cross, or whatever it may be inside that box, is still going to do the same thing. It either will or it won't. Yeah. We just need to be in. We're just picking. So all we're doing is we're replacing, take a trade on a reversal alert or a moving average cross, place a line 3/4 of an ADR above, and if price closes above 3/4 of an ADR, take a second trade. What we're doing is we're replacing that logic with take a trade at a logical area. So I want to get in at that logical area, but I need price to be coming in my direction. So the idea of the logic that I'm using is it's pushed into that area and it's come out of it. That's rejection. There's 1,000 ways to do rejection. We could use a 3-bar reversal. We could use a shooting star and a hammer. But what happens if price pushes up into there with a bull candle, and then it does a hammer, a doji, and then it has another bull candle, and then it has a bear candle, and then it has a bear candle? Open above, close below, or high above, close below. That's what we're interested in. It could do a billion things inside the box. But if it hits the level that we've drawn, this low, this line at the bottom, imaginary line, if it high above that and it comes below it, we've rejected it. That's the fact. Yeah. So that's why I've used that logic. I can program many logics in, but and they will all be valid. But what you will find is you will miss loads of entries. The more complex you make the reasoning behind getting in, the more entries you will miss, because it won't give you a 3-bar reversal. What it will do is it will fly up into the zone and it will just reject, but it won't give you a 3-bar reversal because you said I want a 3-bar reversal in that zone. You didn't get it. You missed the trade and it flew down and I made 2.5 grand on it and you didn't get in. Why? Because you didn't get a 3-bar reversal, but it did reject the zone. Yeah. So I can do that. So if you've got ideas of what you would like for rejection, let me know, and I can obviously look at programming those in. But this is discretionary trading, right? There are a million ways to do discretionary trading. The more complex entry mechanisms you have, the more difficult it will be to use in the strategy tester. This is designed to show you how support resistance works. But yeah, I can program all sorts of stuff in there. Market reversal alerts are too complex. They're very slow on the calculations. So, but price action, bearish engulfings, hammers, shooting stars, again, 3-bar reversals I could do, but I have built EAs that use support resistance 3-bar reversals before, and I've seen a million times it hits the level, you get a nice bounce, which isn't quite the rules for a 3-bar reversal. It's similar, but it still works. So I have to build all the different variations of 3-bar reversals into a zone. It just becomes super complex, if you see what I mean. But I can build in all sorts of stuff. Love the EA already. Looks fantastic to train the brain. Yeah, will be good. I wish I had it when I was learning support resistance, because it's, you know, it's very good. Position trader EA you can do this with. Like I said on Tuesday, we did a whole session on doing this with a position trader EA, but this is so much simpler. Yeah, and trading is simple. The simpler you make it, the easier it is. Would be great to see the swap cost information. You don't in the strategy tester, swaps are irrelevant. So if I build this into something that is a usable live EA, then yeah, that would be something that's probably worth putting on. Does it have a lot multiplier option? No. So again, this is something I'm going to do. At the minute, what I've got is a very basic version that uses a monetary risk over distance. So what it is 200 over an ADR. What I think I might do instead of that is I might use lot. and lot multiplier. So what I will do is I will say you've got to use a fixed lot size, and we'll have a lot multiplier on it. Yeah, so it mimics kind of what the position trader EA does. There's too much. Don't forget, this is a training at the moment. This is a training tool. Yeah, so what it's designed to do is to get you trading market structure and levels. That's it. So we have got no indicators. ADR doesn't exist. What we're doing is, it does exist, but what we're doing is we're saying I want to get in, and I want it to play out. It doesn't matter at this point in time what the number is, but lot multiplication is something I think would be good to have in here. So what I'm probably going to do is get rid of this money risk for the time being, change it to lot size, so it will work in the same way as the Swiss Army knife with lot multiplication. Yeah, so it will also, if you use a lot multiplier of 1, 1.1, 1.3, 1.5, go through the same exercise with all the different multipliers, you will see how much extra drawdown you go into and how much more you will be papping your pants after 3 weeks. Yeah, so it's a good thing to do. Also, I think another addition I need, having used this very briefly, is a close oldest trade button. So if we are in 3 trades, yeah, and it's still pushing, we need to do some drawdown control. So I think we need some kind of drawdown control mechanism in there. And again, there's a million ways to do drawdown control, and it's very hard to do it in an EA and the strategy tester, because building in the functionality is actually more difficult in a strategy tester. But I think that needs a button to close old trades out and take the losses. Yeah. I'm also going to draw in the average price so that you can see where your averages are. So I'm going to draw in the average price as well. I need to note all this down. Let me just quickly write that down. Average price, lot size plus multiplier. What else did I say? Plot ADR distance, close oldest. I'll do it for the minute. The idea to help us be less reliant on indicators and to better watch, study the markets is great. Like give a man a fish. Yeah, exactly. This is what it's all about. To stop you hunting for the holy grail and system hopping, you have to understand why this moves and how it moves. Yeah, everybody's focused and their concentration is driven by YouTube. In the last 10 years, I've seen this turn from a few people that knew what they were talking about to a billion people that have bugger all clue about what goes on in these markets, who are teaching you and selling you crap. And it's changed. When I had my light bulb moment and became profitable, it was because somebody took me under their wing and taught me how this worked. Not because they gave me a system, a strategy, an indicator. They taught me how this worked. Yeah. Why does it go up and down? Right. Well, it goes up and down because of banks. Okay. So what do the banks do? They execute orders. Why do they execute orders? Who are they executing the orders for? How much are they executing? Why does it do this? Why does it do these jaggedy lines? What is market structure? If you learn all of this, it's obvious what to do, because you boil it down to a simple binary process. All it does is it goes up to areas it's been to before where they sold it, and they resell it, because that's the area that we're selling at the moment. If that's not the area we're selling at, there's another area we sold at before that we will sell at. That is what creates this. The more it goes in one direction, the less likely it is to continue, because there is no volume left in banks to take the opposite sides of the orders. So they have to remove a portion of the orders, which creates structure. If you can see this playing out over and over again, and you can guess where it's going to happen, it just gives you the confidence that you know what you're doing. That's half of what this is about. People take trades because they've no confidence. People take trades because they've lost. They just take trades because they want to make money. If you only take trades because it's got to an area that you know works, you will make so much more money and take so much less drawdown. Indicators go up and down with price. Yeah. You can see where price is. Price is the leading indicator. Yeah, something that was taught to me ages ago. The most important indicator on your chart is price, because price doesn't lag. This is going down. Yeah, there is no indicator on the planet that is going to tell you this has happened until after it's happened. RSI is going down now because this is going down. Where's this going down to? I don't know. Where did it come up from? That's all you need to know. It will work or it won't work, but all you're going to do is you're going to wait and see if it works. If it does work, let the market give you the money. If it doesn't work, change the price and let the market give you the money from the next area it's going to buy it from. It could go wrong 10 times in a row, in which case you're going to need to deal with it. But if you can make a better entry, there could have been an RSI short signal there, which you took, which wasn't working. But that would have been a better entry to take. And that would have been enough money for you to exit with a profit. That wasn't enough, because that is an indicator driven entry. And this is a logical entry. Yeah. Again, one thing I was taught over and over again, if price is inside the middle of a range, run, because it can do that or that. If prices move to the top of a range, the probabilities of doing that are way more than doing that. So take trades here and here and not here. If you take trades here, you're flipping a coin. If you take a trade here, the odds of the tail is 80%, because the market spends 80% of its time doing this. So you've got an 80% probability here and here and a 50% probability here. What's the point in trading from that? So this is what we do. We draw blocks on the chart. Where did it go from last time? It hit that level. It didn't work out as a short. It blew through it. Then they came down and the buyers added more. So this is where the buyers are. Let's buy there. Buy now when we get here again. Same as propulsion gaps. Propulsion gap is a massive sell order. If there's a massive sell order, the market is short. When we get back to the sell order, they're not going to let it go through, because otherwise they don't make money. So they add more. That's what propulsion gap theory is all about. Yeah. So it's all the same stuff as I'm teaching all the time and as I'm doing all the time. But this is a brain trainer, if you like. However, the more I'm building this thing, and the more I'm thinking, throw everything else away, because this is how I started. But I've been through the process of doing this, and I've simplified my life. I've kind of come out the end. If you think of a trading journey, your trading journey from what's a chart goes to that, and then it goes like that. Yeah. And this is where I am here. I've been up here trading 200k accounts, and I've been down here blowing $5,000 accounts over and over and over again. Think of those steps that I've got on the 5 steps of trading. This is autopilot. Autopilot is never going to make as much money as you being a young aggressive trader, and it's not going to be an idiot. But what it is simplicity. This is why I trade using RSI and ADR, because I don't have to look at the charts. I don't have to think. I don't have to do analysis. I don't have to do anything. This is more labor intensive, but it is only twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, just adjust these boxes. Yeah. But I don't need to do that now, because I've got a way that works for me. But this is just another way of doing the same thing. This, you'll find, will probably be more accurate. And again, this is why these buttons are here. Yeah, you can do this right now by drawing blocks on your chart. I mean, use that propulsion gap if you want. If price pushes up into there, just hit that. Yep. Or right now, hit that button and move the line up into there. If you think about it, it's exactly what this thing that I've built does, except you can't adjust that. And that is why I wanted to build this. In the strategy test, you cannot adjust pending orders, but you can adjust boxes. So all this is really doing is placing a pending order there, but it's not triggering it when it hits it. It's triggering it when it's invalidated. Yeah. So it's a better way of using pending orders. See what I mean? You've got to have price action in your direction before it enters. This calculates on bar open, so won't trigger intra bar. Yes. Yeah. Always, always, always use candle close. Again, something that was taught to me by, I'd say, there's one guy that just made every light bulb I've ever had trigger, and he's what I class as my mentor. And he again went on and on and on about forget intra candle. If you're looking at a 4-hour candle, yeah, if you're looking at a candle on the 4-hour time frame, and it looks like this, yeah, at some point, that candle there could have looked like that. Yeah, you would have bought that 1.5 hours into that 4 hours. Yeah, but at the end of that 4 hours, the sellers were firmly in control of the market. The idiot buys into candle. The clever person buys when the candle has closed. We want to know who's in charge of the market now, not who was in charge of the market during lunchtime. Doesn't matter. Right now, I'm making my decision. I'm not making my decision in intra candle. So if you want to make your decision intra candle, drop down onto the hourly time frame, or drop down onto the 15-minute time frame and wait for one of these to close. But what you're doing is you're trading the chop inside of the 4-hour candle. This is why I say trade hourly and 4-hourly time frames. This is chop. It's going to go up and down all day long. Yeah, but a 4-hour candle, 4, 8, 12, 6 of them. You only get 6 decisions a day on a 4-hour time frame. Yeah, and they are firmly in line with what the banks and institutions are doing. You get 24 decisions a day on an hourly time frame. Yeah, on a 15-minute time frame, you get 94 decisions. On a 5-minute time frame, you've got to go out a bit, you get 286 decisions in a day. Yeah, every time a candle closes, you can make a decision, you can make an action. If you trade a 5-minute time frame, there's 286. If you stayed awake for 24 hours, there's 286 things you can do. On a 4-hour time frame, you can do 6. Yeah, you get rid of all the crap, all the bad decisions. The 280 bad decisions you're going to make today are boiled down into 6 good decisions with confirmation of what exactly is happening in the market right now. Yeah, so this is why I say use this and this 4-hour and hour, because all of the crap's gone. Even the hourly time frame is, you know, there's a lot of chop in there. Daily time frame is what the banks and institutions use. They don't care what happens intraday. I'm looking to buy it. Yeah, we've got buyers on board. Yeah, let's buy it. That's it. That's all they're looking at. They don't even look at the candlesticks. They're looking at prices. They're looking at price points, which is why we're drawing boxes at price points, because that's what the banks use. They will be taught. And again, Dave taught me this. He used to work in banks, basically, on the FX desks, basically, and he worked on a market maker desk for a short period of time. And he was told to buy whatever it was and sell it at X. Yeah, and they didn't care what else was going on in the market. They didn't care what had happened in the market before. What they're interested in is, for this to become a profitable trade, we're going to buy it around here and we're going to sell it at X. X was 5,800, 5,900, 58.5. Yeah, whatever it is. Why did this go from this level twice? Because it's 58.3 or 58.4. It's whatever they called as the price to sell it at, because that's the profit they needed to make. This is why it happens like this. Now what will happen is, when banks are looking to get in, they'll be going, last time we got as high as X, sell it at X. Yeah, this is why it works, because the banks are looking at levels and zones, and they're executing huge amounts of orders down here. They're never going to get them at that price, but they'll get them around it. It's a zone where they're selling and buying from. We can see them, so we use them. That's all we do. Propulsion gaps literally are just large orders in the banks. Yeah, so they are buying at, they are selling at 93.9. Yeah, so if you're buying here, we'll sell it at 93.9. Why? Because that's where we're selling it. We, as in the market in general. Yeah, that's the way it works. So this is what you do. You use these levels because this is what the banks are doing. If the banks are doing it and they need to continue to do it, the chances are very, very high that you will get in with them, not against them. This is why everybody, when they're new in trading, when you're down in that little, when you're in that early part of your trading before you've got here, yeah, every time, and I said it to myself, why is it every time I sell it, it goes up, and every time I buy it, it goes down? And that is the question you ask yourself for months, even years. Why doesn't it work? It does. What you don't understand is that's all it does. It only goes up and it only goes down. So when you press it, you are playing a 50-50 probability. You're just seeing all the negative ones. Yeah? The ones where it goes in your favor, you go, oh, I got back the loss. You ignore those. They get wiped from your brain. Because all you're seeing is up and down, and you're wrong all the time. You're not wrong all the time. You're wrong a small amount of the time, probably 30% of the time, which is roughly about what you need as a strike rate to make money in this. Yeah? It's bizarre. It's just the way, but until you, and this is hopefully what this will help you see, is you'll see how it moves. And immediately you'll stop worrying about this, that, and the other. Yeah? But you've got to have a reason to get in. And for me, this is the best reason. The second best reason is exhaustion. Yeah. And exhaustion is measured by ADR and RSI. So on my trading journey, I started here. I've been up to here. I've had a strike rate stupid high because I was sitting on my hands for a week waiting for A+++ setups. You know, where we grade them. Oh, that's an A setup. That's a B setup. That's a C setup with your strategy. And you log them, you track them, you do this, you do that, the other. But you end up taking all the C's because you're impatient. I've been there where I've only taken the A's and I haven't taken trades for a week. But what I found was I was missing out a load of money. So you find an equilibrium. What I found was elastic band theory often ties in with resistance. So when the RSI is extended, a lot of the times it's where I would have got in with an A anyway, but I'll often take B's and C's, but I was doing that anyway, so I might as well carry on because they all make money. They're good. But you could just take those. Those are the ones which get to 90 RSI. These are the ones that get to 85 RSI. These are the ones that get to 70. But there's 80% of your trades will be those. But the ones that don't work, you wish you'd have waited for them. There isn't a right or wrong because you don't know which one it's going to be. So if you just use this as an entry, it works just as well. Yeah. So train your brain to see the areas. And when you get an RSI extension, you could go, that's a lovely extension, but we're at 80 RSI here. Makes sense to go to 90, doesn't it? So I'll wait until 90. And if we don't get it, we don't get it. We've got 28 FX pairs. There's another one coming along. Don't worry. Yeah, every day there's going to be a setup. There's never a day where I'm in here and I'm going, there's no RSIs, there's no, well, there is days like this today. But, you know, it's Thanksgiving. So there's always something moving. And as it's moving to a level. Yeah, so this is where you sell it from because this is where they bought it from. And now they're selling it from 93,400. So when it gets to 93,400, we'll sell it. Unless it pops through there, in which case then we'll wait until it gets up to 93,900 and we'll sell it up there. Yeah, but that is what you're going to train your brain to see and to do. But always on bar open, yeah, or bar close, basically. So all of my EAs work on bar close. So it uses bar number 1. So when you're in programming talk, this current bar is called bar 0. This is called bar 1. This is called bar 2. 3, 4, 5, etc. Yeah, so everything says if bar 1 has done this, trade. So on the open of bar 2, that is where the activity happens, on the open of that candlestick. My idea was from higher time frame zones. If we drop back to lower time frame where price reverses inside out, we may get better entries. Yeah, so you can do that. So you know, this is the thing. So this is the hourly time frame. So if we look at highs and lows, that is a weekly level. Yeah. So the thing with taking trades inside a zone, yeah, And the problem with taking trades inside a zone is you've got to draw the zone accurately. Yeah. So where do you put the top of the zone? On the very high of that candle? And where do you put the bottom of the zone? Lower that one? Yeah, so that high and that low. And extend that across. So in this particular case, on the 5-minute time frame, for example, you probably had some kind of signal in there on the 5-minute time frame to get in, which is great. But here, and here, and here, you didn't. So you missed that short, you missed that short, you missed that short. That one there, you missed it. Because it didn't trigger in here. Was it a good trade? Yes. Was it a good trade? Yes. Was it a good trade? Yes. But that's the only one you took. Also a good trade. But if that hadn't have happened, you missed all of that because it wasn't in here. And in here is completely discretionary by you. What I'm saying is price will get to somewhere around here, and it could be here, 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 or here, and it will reject that area over a period of hours, weeks, hours or days. It's very difficult to do inside a zone. It's very easy to program inside a zone. Yeah, I have to be below that and above that. And I have to have a moving average cross or a bearish engulfing or a 3-bar reversal or something happening in here. I can program that in. But then it's reliant on you being right with this. How do you draw this? Which means you can't draw small ones. Yeah, you can't draw something like that because you won't get the price action in there. And if it taps that, let's say you get a double top on news, pop, like that. What a great signal. Look at that lovely shooting star at resistance. Bang. Didn't take it because nothing happened in here. See what I mean? It's all discretionary. The more complex I make it, the more you are going to hunt for the perfect. The perfect doesn't exist. It's rough. Totally, totally rough. This alpha version tool is very cool. Nice manual alternative to the PTA. Yeah. Train the brain should be the name for the EA. Yeah. Brain trainer. I'll call it the brain trainer. At the moment, it's called support resistance. See how simple I am? This is called support resistance. Yeah. But that's what it's for. Yeah. But, you know, the more I'm using this, well, not the more I'm using it. I've only been building it for 2 days. I haven't been building it for 2 days. I've probably spent about 6-7 hours on it. But the more I've been testing it, the more I've been going, why am I not doing this now? Because this is what I've become, and this has happened since I've been teaching more than doing, although I'm doing all the time, but focusing much more on being in YouTube and doing and educating rather than sitting here doing bugger all for the whole day and just trading, because I don't need to do that anymore because the EA does everything for me. So I've become redundant. I've made myself redundant. The more I'm using this, I'm enjoying. I've enjoyed doing this morning. I've enjoyed sitting here for half an hour being right. And that's what it's about. You do this as a job to make money, but you do it because it gives you satisfaction. You've always got to get satisfaction out of your job or what you do. It gives me satisfaction in going, I knew that was going to happen. And I think everybody gets that. And when it doesn't happen, you go, all right, you got me there, but now you're going to go there. Nah. Yeah. It gives you a really good buzz. And that's something I miss with the position trader EA, because all I do with the position trader EA is I come in here every day and go and look at this and go, yeah, it's all working. Or it's like hideous. Yeah. But I don't have any input anymore into what I do. It's just happens for me. And it's kind of nice to have, I think, an EA where you have to think about it. But no one will like this. Yeah. Because everybody will be going, but can you make it automatically make me money? No, you can't. If that was the case, well, you've got it. It's a position trader EA. Stick that in your chart. It'll make you money. but it doesn't make me enough. All right, well, go and work at McDonald's as well as a part-time job. I don't know how to help you, mate. This is what it does. It goes up and down. If it doesn't go up and down to somewhere it gets into a signal, it isn't going to do anything. That's it. Trading is boring. It's dull. Yeah, it's a horror. This is why I do YouTube, because I'm fed up sitting there doing nothing. Yeah, I go off stream now and I'll go and do testing and coding because I've got nothing else to do. Kids are at school. Wife's at the gym. Dog's had a walk. There's only so much Star Trek I can play and watch. Boring trading with profit is the best thing you could have. Yeah, and this is what I've done. Like I said, that curve from being an idiot beginner to I would class as the top of my game. This is where you ideally you want to do that, because this isn't fun. This was 5 minutes scalping 200k and hourly trading support resistance 200k. Horrible experience, because there was too much money on the line for me personally. Too much money on the line and too scary. I reduced it all down and had less risk, and it's much more comfortable trading a big account with something that just does it for you, because it's slow. The reason everybody spends their entire life looking at the 5 minute chart and looking at the higher the day, the lower the day, all these highs and lows, is because they want to get in today and make a load of money. This is absolute algorithmic chop. There are times when that will work, and you can test this. Yeah, do this on the 5 minute time frame. Yeah, go down to the 5 minute time frame and run a test and draw your 5 minute levels in. So come out, you need to zoom out a bit, probably go up that far, yeah, and do it. Yeah, see how much drawdown you get into trying to get it right on a 5 minute time frame. So somewhere around there and somewhere around there at the moment is where I'd be buying it and selling it from. Something like that. Why didn't that work? Oh, it blew through the zone. Okay, so that didn't work. I need to come out. So let's find another one. It blew through that zone. So I'll wait for it to get down to this area down here. Somewhere around there. Beautiful. Oh, didn't work. Did work. Didn't work. Did work. Didn't work. Didn't work. Right. See, you spent the whole day trying to make money. No wonder it's frustrating. I got in. I went into drawdown. I went into profit. I went into drawdown. I went into profit. I went into drawdown. I'm still in drawdown next day. What do I do now? I didn't make any money yesterday. Panic. How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to pay the mortgage? I didn't make any money today. This is what prop does. Yeah, prop. This is why they don't let you hold overnight. Because if you hold overnight, you'll make money. If you don't hold overnight, you won't. Because the market isn't going to go, oh, he's got in long. Let's go up for him, shall we? You can't trade the 5 minute time frame consistently and make money. It doesn't work because it's just chop. It's algorithmic chop. You sold it. Brilliant. How far do you need it to go? You could scalp it, which means you've got to use a stop. If you're going to get in with 1 or 2% risk, yeah, to make 5% risk, you've got to use a stop loss. If you use a stop loss, this thing's going to go up and down all the time. You're going to lose 5-10% of your account by the time you get one on, and then you're only going to take 10% to get break even. You're never going to make money. Remember that zero-sum game. Every strategy that uses a stop loss comes back to zero. It's the way it works. So got to go up higher. Got to get out of the 5 minute area. And everything you see runs on 5 and 10 minutes. Every course runs, most of them run on tiny little time frames because they want you to be able to get money quick. These sessions are my detox. Yeah. You need it though. There's nothing like trading in a group environment. I was in my mentor group. There was only 5 of us in it. There was 10 of us in it at one point, and there was 5 of us left in it. Do you know why the other 5 went? Because they system hopped off to another system. But the 5 of us that were left in it, what I thought about doing this, but I don't have the time. But the 5 of us that left in it, we had to ask permission to trade. Yeah. So if I wanted to take a trade, I had to email my mentor. At the time, we were on email only. So we had an email round robin group going with everybody was CC'd into. So not only did we have to ask permission to take a trade, first thing that did was make sure that we can't trade the 5-minute time frame, because by the time he got back to us, that trade still needed to be valid. So we were trading hourly and 4-hourly time frames. What do you think about this? I'm thinking about going long here. Not only did he have to give permission to me to take that trade, to say, you're an idiot. Right, go back to this lesson, reread that, because it was all in writing, not video form. Reread that, yeah, and now come back to me and tell me if you want to take that trade. Oh, no, you're right. No, it doesn't. That's totally wrong, isn't it? But not only that, everybody that was CC'd in would give their 2 pence as well. Be like, what are you doing? That doesn't follow the rules. And you get immediate abuse from other people. But what it stops you doing is making stupid decisions. And this is kind of like Travel has just said. It's like your daily detox. Yeah. I'm quite hard with people, as you probably know. But the reason I'm hard with people is because that's how I learn. I was taught to go and read for 2 weeks and then come back and get quizzed on what I just learned. And if I didn't know the answers, I'd go and read it again. And he wouldn't let me do anything on here until I understood why I was doing it. And this is the problem. You could go onto YouTube right now and you will die by the time you've watched all the gurus on YouTube that are teaching you something. And you could never take a trade. But in a small group, you get a wake-up call constantly. But I would never go down the route of wanting people to pass their trades by me type thing. And I don't want people to be copying my trades either, because there's also a lot of discretion involved in what I do at certain points. But this helps by building tools like this. You can give yourself a daily slap around the face. Yeah, if you've just taken a bad run or you're in some drawdown or something, go in the strategy tester and run something like this and just go, what am I doing? I've taken 6 trades this week. We haven't gone anywhere. I'm an idiot. Teach yourself you're an idiot. You know you're an idiot. It's this this step. Where's the image? It's this. You need to be slapped, and the best person to slap is you. Yeah. If you know you're being an idiot, stop being an idiot. It's the hardest thing to train yourself to do. When you press a button and you go, that's a bad trade, press the close button. Don't go, oh, I'll see what happens. Yeah. I don't take trades. I sit here doing nothing. My P&L is either got stuff on or it hasn't. It's only got stuff on if that's happened. If that hasn't happened, it hasn't got stuff on. That's it. This is why I love automation, because automation stops the idiot. You cannot be a consciously incompetent if something else that has a rule set is doing the trading for you. You can then make decisions based on what it's done, but you stop pressing the buttons. The conscious incompetence vanishes. That's the eureka moment. Yeah, if you go in here and you watch this on an hourly time frame, yeah, and you go, one thing you could do, you guys, when I put this out there, do some back testing, right? And just post your P&Ls, post your graph. We know that 100% of everything you've done is you, not an EA, because all it's doing is drawing boxes. You're making the boxes go somewhere, right? So post your brag your P&Ls, yeah? Show your graphs. I've traded for 6 months manually using just that and this is what I've generated, yeah? And print that out and keep it on your desk. I used to have post-it notes all around my monitor. But print it out, put it on your wall or something and show that P&L. You can do this. You just got to prove you can do it. And this is why I say in the boot camp, do this for 3 months, right? If after 3 months you are in break even or profit, you've done it. That's it. But I've only made 2 grand. Congratulations, you are a profitable trader. You're not going to make 10 or 15 grand a month unless you've got a 100 grand account. Yeah, this is what trading is. It's about waiting for the price to get to points and then taking trades in line with what bank and institutional movement is expected to be. It's not about finding the indicator, finding the holy grail. And if you can sit in here for 3 months, draw boxes and do nothing, because you can do nothing, because you just wait. You control time. You have become the DeLorean. Ta-da! You're a time machine all of a sudden. And all this thing is going to do is go up and down through time. You can control time, and you now control level. Brilliant. It's the only tool you need. That's it. It's all it does. Wait. Close. Money. That's what you need to learn. So really good session, if I do say so myself, on Tuesday, because it is exactly what I started doing, how I was taught. And this is how they teach you in banks as well. If you go and get a job in a bank, on any trading floor, they put you in the simulator and they leave you in the simulator until you come out profitable. And I think most of them give you something like 6 weeks. So you get stuck in a simulator all day long, and you are told to watch the ladder, because they trade ladder rather than chart. You're told to watch the ladder, and you trade the ladder. And when you come out after X number of days profitable, you've passed. Then you move on to a very small trading account. Simulator. That's all they do in banks and institutions, because you cannot teach somebody a strategy, because a strategy is individual. Yeah. Where you place this box is discretionary. There isn't a best place to place a box. There is a box. There is a price. There is somewhere around. And you'll understand that it doesn't matter if the box is that big, that big, that big, or that big. Doesn't matter how big the box is. What is happening is it's hitting an area. And that's all they do in the banks. And what you learn in the banks through burning into your retinas is you watch this ladder go up and down for 6 weeks. You know what the ladder's doing in advance, because you've seen the ladder do so many times before it does that. Every time you see that, it's subconscious. And this is what the strategy tester does. It subconsciously burns into your brain how the market moves once you've done that. And that's what I kind of said yesterday in the live stream. I don't know what I was doing in the live stream, but I automatically drew what price was going to do on the chart subconsciously, because you just will see it. And this is what this sort of tool is going to do. It's going to teach you that, hopefully, anyway. Well, EAs can help with fear, indecision. One might have, do I really enter here? Is extended enough? Is a good level? What if I keep pushing against? What if news comes out? Overthinking. Yeah. If you, and again, if you in here with this, you have no worry, because you don't know when news, and you don't know. This is the thing. I think this is the key for me in becoming profitable, was like I said, down here, I was going, why is this happening? Why is this happening? All the time. The question was why. Why is it when I press buy it goes down? Why is it when I press sell it goes up? Yeah. Is this a good one? Is this a trend? Is this the best moving average? Is this the best oscillator? Is it better to use a bearish engulfing, or is it better to use a shooting star? Is all these questions, if you come in here, they are all answered, because you can prove to yourself over 6 months. That's what happens. Yeah. And what you will find is that sometimes, the answer is always sometimes, like you've just put there. Do I really enter here? Sometimes it's good. Is it extended enough? Sometimes. Is it a good level? Sometimes. What if it keeps pushing against me? I'll move my price. Yeah. What if news comes out? It might go my way. It might not. I'll move my price. The thing you always have is I'll move my price. The thing that nobody else that's trading or trying to become profitable in trading has is I'll move my price. Because everybody is, it has to be, it's definitive. It has to be a short there. There is exactly where it needs to be shorted. Nope. Okay, take my 1%. I will try again here. Oops. Take my 1%. I will try again here. Excellent. It hasn't made 3%. I need 3% to get to break even. Whoops. Take my 1. Now I need 4%. Nuts. But that's what everybody teaches you, isn't it? Absolute lunacy. There's nobody on the planet making money that does that. Not that I've met anyway. They certainly don't in the banks. You know, I've come from a business background as well. I've run a business. Run a couple of businesses. I've run 3 businesses actually. Very small, but I've run businesses. And when you run your own business, you are super analytical about everything. Yeah. And when you run your own business, you have competitors and you do a competitor analysis. So when I started my web design company up 20 years ago or something, I did it for about 10 years. It was great programming. But the first thing I did was go, right, how many web design companies are in my area? Excellent. I phoned them all up and I said, what do you charge for a 5-page website? Okay. How much is hosting cost? Yeah. Okay. Phone the next one. And I built a spreadsheet out of what the average costs were. So I knew what I could charge and I knew how much to charge and I knew what companies are willing to pay. All of that research was done before I even started advertising. Yeah. No one does this. No one does testing. Yeah. They go, hey, look, there's this bloke called ICT. And he says if it goes above that level and it hits this little blue box, you press that button, you can make money. Yeah. No one goes and tests any of it. They just do it. They go, oh, it's only 400. I'll buy his course. Hey, I've got 10 books here for 55 quid. I'll buy those books. Hey, there's 3 videos here I can watch. And you immediately run off into that zone. If you sat here and spent 3 or 4 weeks pressing this button for 8 hours a day, you'd know exactly what to do because you see it going up and down all the time. And you go, well, it's obvious. Yeah. That's what you got to do. But then no one really improves. If the EA you use stopped working for whatever reason, you can't trade anymore. I had a brilliant email. I'm just going to read this email to you I got this morning. I've deleted it because I've answered it, but deleted items. I won't say who it's from, but it says, hi Lee, I've been watching the 5-day free training video on your website. I've been using 2 EAs very profitably for almost 2 years, and I lost nearly everything this year. Yeah, so for 2 years he's been using 2 EAs very profitably, and he lost everything. Yeah, all point pop. This July and August, due to anomalies in the market. There weren't any anomalies in July and August this year. It's just the market. Yeah, nothing's happened, but he thinks there's an anomaly out there. I was trading very large accounts and I ran across your 2 EAs, reversal and trend trading. I just wanted to know how these fared out this summer and through the elections. Can you screenshot a live account or a live account I can view on my FX book? Yeah. My reply to him was, don't trust me, download the EAs, go and do the back tests. Yeah. This is the problem, right? This guy's bought 2 EAs, put them on charts. He's got a lucky run for a bit and now it's all gone pop. He hasn't got the, I don't know what you call it, get up and go to go and test himself. He wants someone else to do it for him. No one has ever got anywhere in this world by getting someone else do everything for them. Yeah. When you get to the point where you are Elon Musk, yeah, you can get everybody to do everything for you. But you didn't get there by going, can someone else start PayPal? Can someone else run PayPal? Can someone else sell PayPal for me? He did the whole lot. That type of email is what I get all the time. Yeah. The market hasn't changed. The market's exactly the same. It's all it's doing. Up, down, moving through time. Yeah. Sometimes it goes further than it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes 6 weeks to do something. Sometimes it takes 24 hours. But it's never not done that before. if you'd have tested those 2 EAs, Mr. Whoever you are, over 10 years, you'd know that they're going to blow the account at some point, and you'd be prepared for it. But you haven't spent any time in the strategy tester seeing what happens in the real world. Yeah, you've got to do the due diligence yourself. Like I said in the group the other day, and I always say, have you got any testing results? Do it yourself. Don't trust my data. I've no idea if my data is good or bad. It might be absolute crap. I've been using it all the time and I'm doing fine. But don't trust me. Trust yourself. You're the only person that's going to make money with whatever you do when you press the buttons. So don't trust my stuff. Trust your stuff. Yeah. And this is where you start. Don't worry too much what you can't control. Exactly. There's one thing you can control, one thing alone, risk. That's it. And price. Yeah. That's what you have. The price is when you press the button. The risk is the amount of lot size you place on it. That's as far as control goes in trading. Everything else after the moment that your button is pressed is entirely on a railroad track going that way or that way. That's it. And you know, this again, somebody posted in one of the Discord channels the other, I think it was in the members one, wasn't it? Somebody posted the RSIs comparison. I couldn't see what time frames they were, but they posted one of my RSIs, I think, from the live stream and their own RSI. They're worried about why the RSI looks different. It doesn't make any difference. It's a line plot on a chart that goes up and down. That's it. Doesn't make any difference what mine looks like. Is yours up there? And do you want to press the button? Yes. How much lot size do you want to put on? Forget everybody else. Again, I was always told, don't trade my charts, trade yours. I would look at someone else's charts and go, that wick is way bigger than my wick. Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen my wick, you don't know it exists. Trade your wick. Because my wick's not going to help you. Your wick is going to make you press a button or not press a button. Binary. They should call it binary trading, shouldn't they? That's why we had the binary options. But, you know, the binary markets, we should call them. Yeah, everyone would, if you started calling the binary markets, what do? I'm a binary markets trader. Everyone would go, why are they called binary markets? Because they only go up and down. Everybody would suddenly make money because they would understand it's a binary market because that's what it's called. It's just mind-blowing how many ways there are to press a buy and a sell button. None of them have got any advantage over another. After blowing multiple accounts, Travel, you just deleted that. Oh, here you go. After blowing multiple accounts, I can confirm no EA is holy grail. No. Every EA needs manual intervention. When things go south. Yeah. Like I said, I've said this all along. This is part of the position trading methodology. Yeah. If it's green, forget it. If it's green, it's going there. If it's red, I'll deal with it. Yeah. Don't deal with anything that is good. Just let good be good. Let bad get dealt with. That's it. Yeah. If something goes into drawdown, I'm on it. I focus on it. If something's not, I'm not. This just builds. It will continue to build. When things go wrong, it will go wrong, and you will have to deal with it. But you know, there's no way of picking the top and the bottom in the market. This is as close as it's going to get. But this is also going to frustrate the hell out of you because you'll be sitting around for ages. You know, they say never adjust your stop loss and TP. When this thing goes sideways for ages, you will be continuously adjusting all of this. Like this, now I want to go here. Yeah, you'll be adjusting this all the time. And what will happen is this will sit sideways for a week or two, and it won't get to either of those, and you'll get frustrated. But what you won't do is lose money on all this chop, and you won't be sitting in this costing you a fortune, because that's basically the way the market works. I won't be able to get that on, will I? But anyway, I think I've kind of laboured the point enough. You know, it's money. Look, take it. Take the money. Stick it in the bank. Spend it. Buy your wife a present. Husband. Whichever. Yeah. It's not hard, is it? But what I'm not doing is needing time, needing things to happen. I'm waiting for things to happen. I think that's the big thing that people need to everybody needs to kind of realize is there is no control. And I've got a video on it. You know, there is no control in the market. You basically get in and you wait. It's just pressed a button there, made money. I didn't do anything. I just pressed a button. And that's the thing. If you press a button and it works, brilliant, take the money. If it doesn't work, take some more at a later stage. But now it's working again. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. This is what it's about. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it is again. But it's not. So I need to do something. But moving your price is what you need to do. Not try and get the right entry. So that is either going to go down into here or it's not. And if it's not, we need to find a level. That's it. So play with it. I will build this out today. So this is my day's task. I'll hopefully get it out today. It works as it is at the moment, obviously, and we can develop it if there's other bits and pieces we need. But it does need some other things added. Oh my God, I'm getting so much of this spam at the moment. It's obviously some kind of... Thanks for sharing such valuable information. Could you help me with something unrelated? My OKX wallet holds some USDST, and I have the seed phrase, alarm fetch, churn bridge, exercise tape speak, race clerk, blah, blah, blah. It's obviously some kind of crypto scam. That's probably some crypto wallet encryption key or something. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't do it. I'm getting loads of this at the moment. It seems to be plaguing every day. I'm getting some of these come through. Don't react to them. Sexual content? No. Misinformation. There we go. Bye-bye. So yeah, I'm getting loads of that crap at the minute. Very annoying. Right, any questions on that? I've waffled. We've gone on for bloody ages again. Actually, it's only 2 hours. It's not too bad, is it? So any questions, any feedback or anything like that, obviously leave it in the comments or in the group. If you want to contact me direct about anything, do that through the Discord or through the members group. Try and talk in the members group because it stimulates the conversation. But I will work on that today and I'll get a working version with some enhancements that we've discussed today in there, and then go and play with it. And it might be something that, you know, it's worth developing into something to use, you know, as an alternative. I've looked at building this into the Position Trader EA because somebody mentioned about building it in why can't you stick this in the Position Trader EA. There's a lot of logic in the Position Trader EA that is designed to do what it's designed to do. Shoehorning this in means changing a lot of logic in the Position Trader EA, and I don't want to break that because everybody that's done back testing has got their set files and is working their strategies. I don't want to break something in that, so I can't really shoehorn this in. I can add these buttons in to create these zones, but it's just not what it's meant to do. So I'm going to, if I do release this as something else, I think it needs to be its own thing. So, but you know, we'll back test it, use it. That's what I built it for. And then if it's something that we think, yeah, I want to use this real, then we'll do it. I love the idea of it because it's great. I love going back to basics. So you need to every now and again when you get kicked in the teeth, which I did last month. So so I'll be back tomorrow. There's nothing else happening today. As I say, it's Thanksgiving. The markets look to me to be fairly quiet at the moment. So just bear in mind today, not a lot. So it's a great time for me to spend time on this. And if I can get this out, tomorrow is going to be fairly quiet as well. I would suspect. I'm just going to whiz through. There's nothing moving. Indices. Oh, I've got it on. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I shouldn't have closed that. We've only got 2R, 3R. That's the target that would have been hit on TP1. So I've got that running. I'm just going to bank that. It's 360. We're up at 4R. So we're hitting this area here right now. TP is at the monthly high. So I think I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my stop up right under that candle and lock that profit in. Yeah, so don't expect masses of movement today, basically. Speaking of news, RBA's bullock underlying inflation is still too high, considering to consider a near-term rate cut. But that came down yesterday. What do they want? It's at 2.1. Target's 2. They're taking the same stance as the Bank of England, aren't they? There's one part of inflation that is too stubborn for them to drop. Have we had the German figures? Let's just quickly refresh. No, we haven't had the German figures yet. Right, the Rhine has declared, and so is Saxony and Bavaria. Oh no, they are out. Look, most of them. So Bavaria is 2.6. So Bavaria has bounced. Saxony has bounced. Rhine is slightly down by 0.1. So overall, inflation looks like it's bouncing in Eurozone, which is why they're saying we're not dropping interest rates. So that line falls in line with what Lagarde was expecting. Tell you what, out of all the managers of central banks, Lagarde has got the entire interest rate rally, freeze and drop spot on. She's done a fantastic job getting everything right. They've got it all under control. Underlying inflation is too high. So yeah, that's going to rally the should rally the Aussie because they're not going to drop rates. Yeah, so rallying the Aussie, but not a lot. So see. Right, I'll work on that this morning. And I'll drop it in the members group when ready. If you've got any questions or anything else, stick it in the members group while I'm building version 1, if you like, or finishing off version 1 today. Obviously, if there's anything you think might be a good idea and it's fairly easy to get shoehorned in, I'll shoehorn it in, and then you can go and play with it. And then if we like it, we can maybe build it for live trading. All right, so have a good one. Anything you need, let me know. Other than that, I'll back tomorrow morning for the 8 o'clock session, and we'll see if the market has actually moved, which I doubt it has. All right, have a good day. Anything you need, let me know. I'll see you next time.